Enter in through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow is the road that leads to life. But only a few find it. It was in the fields, just below a small house. A man walked slowly, and he was bent over by the weight of a great big pack. It was heaped up over his back and his shoulders. The breath of the wind pushed the wheat heads in ripples around him. And every third step seemed to spring a pheasant into the air, but the man did not notice, for he walked on, holding an open book and turning the pages slowly, slowly. Beyond him, the sun was setting over the western mountains, gilding the sides of the peaks with a light so red they seemed on fire. And when the man saw this, he stepped back startled. His hands flew to the burden on his shoulders, and he cried out, "What shall I do?" If he expected an answer, he received none. Nothing changed except the light which faded to a pale violet. He shuddered, and he turned back to his house, staggering under the weight of his burden. Now one day, he went further than usual, and this time he went eastward, glancing fearfully back over his burden to the mountains that glowered behind him. You see, his burden had grown heavier with the passing days, and the book that he read in became more and more distressing. So when he topped a small rise and saw mountains ahead of him, he fell to his knees and he shouted to the wind, "What shall I do to be saved?" He did not look up. He did not expect an answer. But one came. For along the path ahead of him, Christian saw a man walking briskly. He stood quite still and quite straight when he came up to Christian, waiting for this burdened man to speak. "Sir," groaned Christian, "can you help me?" "Perhaps," nodded the man. "Sir, this book, it tells me that I will die." "You hardly need a book to tell you that. Look around you. All things die in the city of destruction." "Yes, but this book tells me that my burden will sink me even lower than the grave." "If you already know this," said the man, "why are you standing still? Are you willing to point the way?" "Yes, I am. I am evangelist. Do you see the gate? There, past that second field." No, I don't see it." "Look closer. Do you see a light at least?" "Yes, I think so." "Then keep it in your eye and run. And when you reach the gate, knock." And so I saw in my dream that Christian began to run. Well, I'm leaving. I'm headed down a long, long road. But I'm not grieving. Though I'm leaving everything I own, I'm on my way to heaven. I'm gonna get there someday. And the Spirit will lead me the hard but right way. And I've got this burden, and it weighs me down. It's very heavy from the guilt and shame that I carry around. Now there's a cross before me, and this burden it rolled away. Now I'm free to travel the hard but right way. And wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads a man astray, but small is the gate and narrow the road that leads a man to life. It's a rugged road and it's hard, but it's right. And if you're willing, you can come along. Gonna walk together, and we'll find those joys that never fade. There in a shining city, where all our tears will be gone to stay. Oh, it's worth the journey, the hard but right way. And as sure as the promise I hold in my hand, we're bound for the promised land, and by His grace